Hello everyone, my name is Strange, and I believe that people should know the truth. Today, I have in my possession shocking secret documents about the activities of aliens in Lithuania. These documents became the property of the FBI archive in 2003, and it took a lot of work for my staff to get them using both legal and semi-legal, and simply put, bordering on treason methods. But we managed, and now we will publish exclusive data. Excerpts from documents and protocols are reliable, and everything outside is thoroughly thought out by our analysts. The findings are horrific, but you must be aware. We are talking about the safety of all the children of humanity on our planet. An elderly woman was drinking hot coffee in a small summer kitchen of a country house and talking with her daughter-in-law. "Are you staying long, dear? I hope you'll stay at least a week. I miss my grandchildren so much." Tall blonde Ilse sipped tea delicately and tried to show respect to her mother-in-law, but she wanted to leave as soon as possible. But the husband insisted on a trip from Vilnius to the vicinity of Palanga to his beloved mother. "So let's go." And my mother-in-law, despite her benevolence, loved to advise and command so much, and now. "Ilse, my daughter, you must tell Antanas and Nilden not to go to the sea through Naglis Mountain. Some children have disappeared there recently, a boy and a girl." "What are you doing?" Ilse put the cup down on the table. The advice was starting to annoy. "And what did the police say?" "We found a small shoe near the mountain, and nothing else. You must tell me, but it's better to go everywhere with them yourself." "Where are the children now?" Naglis Mountain in the area of Palanga. Despite the happy legend that gave the mountain its name, today became the place of investigation of the mysterious disappearance of two children. The mountain, in fact, was a 15-meter dune on the Baltic Sea coast. And so, in the area of this mountain, two children disappeared, 8-year-old Kaspar and his 5-year-old sister, Razina Pravinish Grolia, as everyone called her. The Pravinish family lived nearby, engaged in agriculture, and the children knew the area perfectly well. Therefore, the version that the children were simply lost was rejected almost immediately. Escaped? There was also no reason for the validity of this version. There was peace and mutual love in the family. What then? What? The operative of the police commissariat of Palanga, Juozas Arvydas, once again strolled along the coast along the ill-fated mountain, looked at it and thought. Children were missing, and before that, a man of 25 years old disappeared in the area of the same mountain. No evidence, no footprints, no bodies. It's like people just came here and disappeared. The dogs were confidently picking up the trail. They took the dog handlers to the slide and started spinning in one place, losing track. Juozas scratched his head and took out a notebook from his breast pocket. "Hey, Volodya, come here." His assistant, a Russian who remained in Lithuania after the collapse of the USSR, ran up to the operative. "What, Juozas? This case is the second in the district, and already the 5th in Palanga. Do you understand?" Vladimir Bolshakov sucked in air with his lips and whistled. "Series. That's exactly it. We need to report to Vilnius." "Do you think a serial killer?" "No, it's something else. My gut tells me that it's not a simple matter." Vladimir, a little overweight, short, adjusted his baseball cap, spat and took out a pack of cigarettes. "Will you report today?" Juozas sighed. "Yes, listen, Volodya, call Raymond and Lemore from the commissariat. Let them question the witnesses again. Find out if there is a precinct officer in their village. Let him organize a patrol of the area. We will assume that we have taken the initial measures." From the operational summary, Palanga, 2003. On September 27, 2003, two children, Kaspar and Razina Pravinish, 8 and 5 years old, respectively, were reported missing. The trail led to Naglis Mountain, where evidence was found, a child's shoe, identified by the mother. The shoe belonged to Razina Pravinish. Further searches were unsuccessful. The testimony of Borbalis citizen MT, 48 years old, has not been employed since 2001. Suffers from alcohol addiction. The readings are being checked. The light of the table lamp was shining directly into my eyes. It was dark and smelled of tobacco smoke. Juozas Arvydas was sitting on a table in his office and smoking, exhaling smoke towards the interrogated Borbalis, who was sitting on a chair in the middle. "So, my friend, let's start from the beginning. What did you see?" Borbalis wheezed with his split lips, and a trickle of blood flowed onto his collar. "I came here myself. I'm the one." Vladimir Bolshakov, who was standing behind him, slapped him on the back of the head. Tell me already. You're the one who kidnapped the kids. You son of bitch you. Speak. The words were followed by another slap on the back of the head and a punch to the head. Juozas smiled and took another drag on his cigarette. Don't be that, Volodya. He's going to say everything himself and go to the cell to sleep. If he behaves well, we'll make him coffee too. But you want coffee? Or better yet, 100 grams, eh? Borbolis said something inarticulate. 100 grams? If he manages to get out of here, he'll stop drinking altogether. He won't even touch this damn vodka. Juozas stubbed out his cigarette butt and picked up a notebook. Let's do it again in order. And remember, we all know. Or do you want my colleague to continue the interrogation? Borbolis tried to get up, but was pushed back into the chair by Vladimir's strong palms. Well, how is it? Will you tell me? Okay. Now, the man coughed and choked. Catching his breath again continued. At 8 in the evening it happened. I was fishing near the hill, yes, near Naglis Mountain. Suddenly I heard some kind of whistling, grinding. I ran along the shore and saw how, as the mountain opened up and 2 kids were sucked into some kind of hole, they were playing there, building something. Listen, Commander, I didn't touch these children. I didn't touch it. Juozas got up from the table. Vladimir clung to the shoulders of the interrogated and pulled the chair towards him, throwing it back. Juozas came close and bent down, lifted Borbolis's face by the chin. I will arrange everything now, you will sign, and you will wait for the trial, impartial and fair. You understand? Borbolis was silent. Borbolis dropped his head on his chest. Vladimir, bring him to condition and draw up a protocol. I'm sure that this nit took the children away, and then buried them somewhere. Find out if possible. They'd only reported to Vilnius in vain, the case was solved. I'm listening. The main directorate of the Lithuanian Police Commissariat, Vilnius, 2003.
Another report has been received, this time from Palanga. The disappearance of 2 children of different sexes. During the year, there were 12 similar cases of children disappearing without a trace in the regions of Lithuania, with a distance of 2 to 3 km inland from the Baltic Sea. Send special agents to Palanga, conduct a detailed investigation, interrogate on the spot, and then transfer the witness of the incident, Borbolis MT, to Vilnius. The interrogation protocol, as well as all the circumstances, should be classified. Information should not be leaked. The case of missing children may be indirectly related to the periodic detection by sonar stations of unknown metallized objects in the Baltic Sea at a distance of up to 1 kilometer from the coast. A survey of the squares by military boats and scuba divers did not yield results. Currently, 12 reconnaissance and search groups are involved. Public Security Service, Lithuania, Vilnius. For the combined data obtained and analyzed, the case in Palanga confirms our guess about the connection of incidents of missing children with the actions of unidentified entities, quite possibly unidentified marine objects. Further illegible, written in digital cipher. The special services of the Russian Federation refused to help. The request was sent twice. I propose to transfer all information to the NATO headquarters, Brussels, through established contact. Conduct a joint investigation, classify the results of the investigation. List of similar incidents in 2002 to 2003. August 17, 2002, Schwentoi, the disappearance of Martin Puskapelis, 11 years old. September 21, 2002, Klaipėda, the disappearance of Mark Sarkut and Egil Petrauskas, 9 and 8 years old. On October 11, 2002, Jutkrant, the disappearance of Ruth Skumpate and Neil Juskin. On July 11, 2003, Klaipėda, the disappearance of Christina Norbele, 6 years old. September 27, 2003, Palanga, the disappearance of Kaspar and Grazina Pravinish, 8 and 5 years old. To date, the children are wanted, with the exception of the case of Pravinish's brother and sister. No witnesses or evidence have been found. Regarding the evidence, a child's shoe of the 29th size, 18.5 centimeters, was found. The evidence was seized from the special storage of the police commissariat of the city of Palanga. During the instrumental examination, it was revealed that the shoe, which means, hypothetically, and the Grazina Pravinish who wore it, the shoe was identified by the mother of the missing one, were exposed to a powerful magnetic field induced by a powerful source at the same time. The slipper is able to deflect the compass needle when it is held up. In addition, when placing the slipper in a metallized sphere, a distinct signal of induction radiation is recorded. At this stage, the investigation is continuing on its own.
Just a second ago, little Kaspar and Grazina were frolicking at the foot of the dune, running in and out of the gentle slope. They laughed merrily and enjoyed life. After a moment, the uncomprehending children, who did not even have time to scream, were dragged inside. An unknown, inescapable force squeezed their bodies and slowly dragged them down the elongated shaft, further and further into the belly of the mountain. The boy and the girl lost consciousness. The awakening was easy, unobtrusive. Kaspar was the first to open his eyes and put out his hand, quickly sat up and shook his curly head. "Grazina, Grolia, where are you?" The girl stretched, yawned sweetly, opening her pink mouth. "I'm here, and where are we?" The boy looked around. An ordinary room, similar to a nursery. White walls, somehow papered with multicolored wallpaper, picked up at random. The fragment of the elephant stuck into half of the cloud, and the half of the cloud continued to represent an unknown fabulous bird. The edges of the wallpaper were peeled off, forming tunnels at the top of the ceiling and at the bottom of the floor. The children woke up lying on the floor among a lot of toys piled in heaps. Grazina saw the doll and pulled it towards her, began to babysit. Kaspar couldn't figure out where they were and, most importantly, how they got here. After all, they played at Nagalistun, and now they are in the nursery. They must have fallen asleep on the sand or lost consciousness. Mom often said that if you walk along the shore for a long time and late, you can faint from fatigue and find yourself in the lair of a sea monster. Really? "Grolia, aren't you scared?" The girl was playing with a doll and smiled. "No, Mom will come and pick us up soon." Kaspar began to look for a way out. Suddenly, one of the walls began to fragment. A rectangle appeared in the middle, which first pushed forward, and then back and moved aside. An opening opened and a man entered. At least that's what it seemed to both children at first. The man was wearing a torn shirt and sweatpants. He was walking slowly forward on straight legs, which gave his gait some kind of strangeness anomaly. The man barely uttered, "Don't be afraid. You are not in danger. Don't be afraid." The children, as if hypnotized, looked at the man and began to notice what horrified them. Wires stretched from the man's head and back into the opening with woven scarves. The man's head was tilted, but when he, obeying unknown forces, lifted it, the children saw a gouged eye hanging from the socket on nerves. The man was dead, but he was walking forward, muttering under his breath, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid." Grolia, with her sharp eyesight, saw that the man's head was emitting a barely perceptible glow. She screamed, and Kaspar immediately screamed, blocking Grolia with himself. In desperation, Kaspar threw a metal train at the man, but the man did not stop. Immediately after him, two creatures appeared in the doorway, thin gray arms and legs, large mouthless heads with huge black eyes. The creatures unceremoniously pushed the man aside like a doll and headed towards the children. The children were numb with fear, and a small puddle formed under the roof. Since then, no one has ever seen the children again. The only thing left after the disappearance is one small pink shoe with small pom-poms on the toes. Kaspar and Grazina's mother came to Nagalistun, cursed it, and sometimes cried, beat her hands in the sand, and begged to give her the children. Her mother's heart told her the children were taken by the dune, or what was hidden in it. Years later, she never once recalled the stories of local drunks who saw on dark nights how the mountain emits radiance, flashes, or talks to those who came to it. Today we have revealed to you only a part of the information about the aliens. There is much more data about their activities on Earth. On our channel, we will reveal all the secrets and evidence of their presence. Subscribe to the channel and send me your stories related to aliens by email. You will find contacts in the About the Channel section. Together, we will force the authorities of all countries to disclose all the information they have. After all, people should know the truth.